So we have a Model S 2019 that we wrapped several months ago, and we have it coming back for some maintenance. It has two rock chips over here, but luckily this has PPF underneath. That was done before we even wrapped it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to remove the vinyl all across, and after that we're going to clay bar it, clean it, and all that, prep it, and we're going to put a new sheet of vinyl over it. So let's get right into it. Well, the first thing we want to do is obviously open up the front, and if you look here, this actually has vinyl underneath, and we kind of got it started. But before you do anything, you just want to make sure you dry it. But just when you're peeling, just make sure you're very, very careful so you're not actually peeling the PPF, right? So I want to disclose that most people would probably vinyl and then they put PPF on top, but for this one it was an interesting case where it was already PPF wrapped. So we're just going to be very, very careful around the edges, and we're not going to overdo it, right? So we're just going to slowly go. And one thing that would actually help when you're doing this part is you want to use heat. And we had this car inside for a little bit, so it's been warming up. Finger cramps. Alright, so while Robert's finishing up, I just want to explain that film is directional, especially when you do color shift, right? So the color shift, the direction does matter, right? So for example, if you had one vinyl going this way and then the other went this way, you will tell the difference, especially when you look at the car. So the way we wrapped this a while ago was we made the direction go this way. So it's going to go all the way around, including the bumper. So for this hood, the direction should be going, you can see the arrow right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. You see the arrow? It should be going from here all the way out this way, right? So this is going to be the direction that we're going to be doing it in. So what we're going to do, Robert, is we're going to unravel all of it away from this car. Cool. And we are going to be peeling it. So I want to peel on one side, and then I think one of the hardest parts is peeling that. So let's create some tension, Robert.
I'm going to switch hands.
Yep. We're going to create tension, not super tension, but just tension, and we're just going to lay it down, all right? So we're going to have tension across, and and make sure it's covering all areas. We're just going to lay it down. Alright, so we're going to just watch this. It's right by the edge, but that's actually fine.
Okay, we just won't trim as much.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a four-corner tack, right? So four-corner tack is you want tension all the way across. You and I are going to pull it across, and you're going to tack it to this fender right here, right? So you're going to see the tension. You and I pull pretty hard, and we're going to do the same thing. Grab where the headlight is, and lift it up like this, yep, where my finger is. And you're gonna pull this way, that right, and get rid of
pull out and then
all
down
the fingers, yeah.
to the side too.
And look at your corner right there. I got my corner. We're gonna grab a clean squeegee. Can you inspect yours just to make sure it's clean? From here, the middle, you just wanna create, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Boom, right? like using a glove for this area is mainly because it's just easier with your finger because you're seeing a hard edge to kind of push it down with your finger or your palm. So what I like to do is just kind of heat it up a little bit, kind of get it more malleable, or like, and then I'm just going to push this all the way down. Alright. This part gets easier, right? Because honestly, we don't have a lot, right? So what I like to do for this part is, one, I can take it out here, and I can just beat a little bit. I'm just gonna lightly, while I'm holding it, I'm gonna get to the corner. Release that. Alright, so we are done. And actually, this was Robert's first time even touching a vinyl wrap. So, what did you think? Super hard? I mean, what was your first thoughts?
I mean, you definitely have to get used to it, but vinyl's a forgiving material for sure, so it was a fun experience, and I enjoyed it a lot. It's not as difficult as I first thought, so.
Yeah. So it's not too bad. Hopefully you guys learned something through this process of removing and then reapplying the same thing. You can see that there's no more marks right here and it still looks good. Remember, if I were to remind you something, it's a directional, right? So if you are doing any color shift, make sure you put it in the right direction so it flows correctly. Well, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments below, but we'll see you next time.